Hi guys, this is Frankie from Frankie Tech, and I'm here again today, guys. And if you didn't see my live stream from yesterday, I actually picked up a new phone that I wanted to test and compare against the Xiaomi Mi 8 SE, and it's right here, guys. If you hadn't seen it already, this is the Xiaomi Mi 6X. Now, I've spent just a little bit over 24 hours, soon to be 2 days, with this phone, and I have this awesome blue color variant right here, and it's been a pretty awesome experience, 36 plus hours thus far. And I wanted to do just kind of a quick comparison of these two phones. I've been getting so many comments from you guys about about the Xiaomi Mi 6X, and that was probably the one comparison I was getting more than any other. When are you going to compare the 6X with the 8 SE? When are you going to compare it? When are you going to compare it? Well, guess what, guys? This is the first of what's going to be kind of a series of videos I'm going to do comparing these two phones. But we're going to just start with really kind of basic specs here. So let's kind of jump in first to the specs of these two phones so we see what we're dealing with here. So right off the bat, you can see, guys, that the Xiaomi Mi 6X is running, let's go right in there, the Snapdragon 660, and it's running, this is the 6 GB of RAM variant. I was trying to get the smaller 64 GB version, but they didn't have it available, so I ended up getting the 128 GB version. And I gotta say, just in terms of performance thus far, it's been really awesome, really speedy, really kind of a joy to use so far. I haven't had any slowdowns, and as you guys will see shortly, I've done some tests with PUBG and some other games as well. And so far, performance-wise, I see that the 660 is everything it's been touted up to be. It's a really great chip. Comparing now to the Mi 8 SE, and while this phone, it's been a joy to use as well, I feel like in the last in the last month or so, or 3 plus weeks I've been testing it, that I'm starting to kind of feel how much of a differentiation is the Snapdragon 710 that this runs versus the 660 on the Mi 6X. How much of a difference is that really? And is it really worth the extra cash to actually pay that extra amount for the Mi 8 SE versus just getting the Mi 6X? And I think the results at the end of this video will surprise you. I actually am starting to think, and I'll share the results later. I don't want to jump into them now, but just quick overview here. This is running the 710. It's got 6 GB of RAM. And, you see in terms of design, and let's kind of just go down a quick list of how I normally do design, display, audio. We'll talk about a little bit about the performance, and we'll kind of just quickly look at the cameras, although I plan to do a full camera comparison video later. But you can see here, just from design, clearly the Mi 8 SE is from a different design language than the Mi 6X. You can see it already. Bezel-wise, we're talking closer to 80%, 79% screen-to-body ratio on the Mi 8 SE. So I think that in itself is already going to be kind of a step above. And if you're looking for that bezel-less design and appearance, the Mi 8 SE is going to be your choice. But you know what, guys? I honestly thought I was over these types of 18:9 kind of bezeled phones, and I actually, after using this for like a day, I kind of was happy that I didn't have the notch on this phone. And as much as I've said I'm okay with the notch, well, guess what? I'm also okay with no notch. In fact, I kind of miss just having a regular screen to look at. I've been testing all these notched Xiaomi phones recently, and it's kind of just a breath of fresh air, I guess, really, to be able to kind of just to have that full screen display and to be able to utilize like every part of it. And I think, honestly, it's something that the Mi 6X, while yes, is it as, forward-thinking a design as the Mi 8 SE, it's not, but it's something that is not a deal breaker. And I think if you still want a great size screen, this is a 6-inch screen on the Mi 6X, you can't go wrong. I'm really enjoying it, and I honestly feel like it's kind of a refresher, a little kind of break from the notch phones I've been testing, so I've enjoyed that. The design of the Mi 6X also, and you see it in this blue variant, It is absolutely gorgeous. Like, I don't know if this is the whatever anime variant color that they just released recently. I wouldn't get that version myself because I don't want anime drawings on my phone. But I think overall, just this blue hue is just beautiful. And it really is just something kind of spectacular when it hits the light. It just looks beautiful. And it's almost as stunning, I would say, as this kind of cream gold color there on, you can see on the Mi 8 SE. Do I like the blue better? I think it's a toss-up. I think it goes back and forth. But what I will say I like better overall is just kind of the hand feeling of the Mi 6X. I actually do enjoy kind of the way it feels in my hand. The size of the phone is still pretty much very manageable to use. But, you know, for a slightly smaller screen, a 5.88-inch screen, I mean, you're getting a very, very comfortable size phone in the Mi 8 SE. Ergonomically, I think it's going to be hard to beat. So it is definitely smaller. You can see it there in terms of the size comparison. And the chins, obviously, there you see the Mi 8 SE is rocking a much smaller kind of bezel just overall. But hey, if the notch is a deal breaker for you, you got your answer right here, guys. The Mi 6X is the one to pick up. Now talking about display, this is the other kind of big difference here. Mi 8 SE is rocking an AMOLED, 5.84-inch AMOLED display, whereas this is an IPS display. And you can kind of notice, maybe there in the video, you can definitely notice that the colors on the Mi 6X are not as pronounced. They're not as vibrant as the Mi 8 SE. And I can tell you, if you look, for example, right at that, let's go right in there, right at that reader, that little reader notification, and even the music notification, you can kind of see it there. The reds, the colors are just a lot more vibrant on the Mi 8 SE. And that's AMOLED for you guys. AMOLED is going to be able to give you that kind of punchier colors, those punchier, darker blacks, and that contrast level is just going to be something else. So if it's AMOLED that you're after on a budget, then there's your other answer. You have your answer there. It's going to be the Mi 8 SE. But honestly, this panel is great. And when this phone comes out as the Xiaomi Mi A2, I will definitely be getting that because I'm a fan, as I've mentioned before, it's MIUI is growing on me, but I'm definitely still a fan of stock Android, and I will love to see how stock Android would be implemented on this type of phone. In terms of performance now, I honestly think performance on these phones is going to be the question that a lot of you guys are going to be asking. And you know, just talking about the performance on the Snapdragon 660, it is the high end. In fact, it is the top range of the mid-range, so to speak. So as you guys know, the Snapdragon has kind of various series, the 400s, the 600s, and the 800s. And now this year, this was the first time they've actually released the Snapdragon 710, sorry. And the 710 is kind of notched in between the 600 series and the 800 series. And I guess the real question that a lot of people are asking now is, you know, what exactly is the difference? And is it actually something that is worth the extra money? And that's a really honest question to ask. Now, it doesn't seem like I have a PUBG working on this so far, so I'm gonna have to just do my quick gaming here on PUBG on the Mi 6X, and I just played a game earlier this morning. Guys, I can tell you now, I'm getting a little better at gaming. I'm still not to the level of, I'm still definitely not to the level of some of you guys out there. But just looking at the frame rates using the 660, this is out of the box without any modifications and using medium playing settings. I honestly think it's working pretty well. I played the entire game earlier, and whoops, let's get out of the jumping mode there. And honestly, I think it is performing about as well as you would have, as you would like. There is a little bit of frame rate drops here and there, but let's see when the plane kind of actually, when you jump out of the plane, what that looks like. In terms of overall kind of, you see it there. There's a little bit of frame rate drop, and I don't know if that's something to do with the game I played earlier, but the performance on this has been pretty solid. At least, you know, to be able to play PUBG, that was something that I was able to do with relative ease. Now, I have seen some videos, and there you can see there the plane as it's coming in. I have seen some videos as it relates to the 660 versus the 710, and how the 710 is actually performing really well against the 660. So this is not like my gaming video, guys. I'm definitely just doing this to kind of show you first impressions on the Mi 6X, what it looks like, and I think in terms of the actual, let's jump out there. You know, in terms of the actual experience of playing the game, you can see it there. It's running pretty well, and the Mi 6X does a pretty good job of that overall. So, see there? I'm going to parachute down. So, like I said, guys, I'm definitely going to be running more of a gaming comparison afterwards. You know, we're going to get a bit more into the actual gaming of these phones. But just to quickly kind of go through here, let's go back to the main menus there. Just to give you guys a quick rundown of at least some of the benchmark tests I've been doing on the Mi 6X. And there you see, this is the Geekbench score, 1623 single core versus and 5849 multi-core. Still a solid score in terms of performance. Also took another photo here, and this is actually a really informative photo, I feel, which is kind of a Geekbench comparison of all of the phones I've been testing recently. At least I think the Redmi 6 Pro is not included here, but you can see it there. In terms of performance, the Mi 6X is really close in terms of single core to the Mi 8 SE, and almost identical, I would say, in terms of multi-core score. Now, I don't know what's up with the Snapdragon 710. Maybe it's not optimized for these, but you can see it there. The 660 is not that much of a lower performer than the 710. So if you guys are thinking about gaming, if you guys are thinking about just general use and general performance, you can see it there. These two scores are very similar. Now, obviously, the OnePlus and the Mi 8 using the Snapdragon 800 series are at a higher level, and you're going to pay a little bit higher, obviously, for those experiences. Now, last quick kind of points, and you know, once again, haven't like really tested these phones completely, or at least compared completely yet with the Mi 8 SE here. But talking about audio performance thus far, I think the audio on the Mi 6X has been pretty solid, and I'm gonna actually be very excited to see how this performs right now, because I definitely have not done the actual test on my own between these phones. But let's kind of just listen now to how these perform in terms of speaker quality, at least, and see what happens here. So we're listening here on the Mi 6X, and I'll turn this up to around 75%. Flash forward a little bit there. Let it play for a second. Now let's switch it over to the Mi 8 SE. Back to the 6X. And there you see it, guys. I don't know if you hear it from the audio there, but you can definitely hear that the Mi 8 SE is a bit louder, and it's kind of a bit more kind of clear, just a bit roomier, I guess is the right word to use, versus the 6X. But the 6X is no slouch in terms of the speaker department. Is it like a great speaker? Is it great? Is it a great audio performance? I'd say it's better than the Redmi 6 Pro, and I think it's getting close to the Mi 8 SE. But I think the 8 and the 8 SE probably have slightly better speakers in this regard. But it's really not something that's going to be a deal breaker, and I think both of these phones have solid speakers that you can enjoy any gaming or any kind of music on. That would be good. And now lastly, talking about camera performance, and obviously guys, this is one part of at least my experience with the Mi 6X that I haven't tested yet. If you haven't seen my camera comparison video that I did a couple days back on the Xiaomi Mi 8, the Mi 8 SE, and the Redmi 6 Pro, go check that one out because I definitely put a lot of time and effort into comparing the cameras of those. And I guess this is now where I throw the question back to you guys. I have the phones here. What kind of videos do you want to see? What kind of comparisons, what kind of in-depth comparisons do you want to see between these? And I think one of the ones, as I kind of started to do in this video, was that gaming comparison. I definitely want to do a more in-depth gaming review. Want to go more in-depth with the specs on these. Definitely, though, I think probably the one that I'm thinking you're going to say is going to be that camera comparison between the Xiaomi Mi 6X and the Mi 8 SE. Really seeing how much better is this phone, because it is the more expensive option over the Mi 6X. But how much better is it? Because there's not much separating these two. And if the shooter on the Mi 6X is everything that it's touted up to be, and remember, this is going to be the same shooter on the Mi A2, if that's going to be the case, then I'm very curious to see how these two perform and and ultimately which one comes out on top in that camera comparison. Anyway, guys, this was a quick just overview video. It's something that I just felt like doing right now. I know definitely have a lot more tests to do on these phones, but just so far, kind of my final thoughts, the Mi 6X has been performing pretty awesomely. And I said it in my kind of streaming video yesterday. I don't know what it is about this phone, but I guess maybe I'm a little tired of the notch experience. I'm not saying that I hate notches, but I definitely enjoyed having that full kind of screen experience and just kind of a slightly bigger screen overall. And I've enjoyed my time with the Mi 6X thus far. It's been a real solid phone, and it's just been a real solid experience. And I'm definitely going to go more in depth with this phone as I kind of move along. But definitely hit me up with any comments, specifically really to that question, what kind of comparisons you guys want to see with these phones, and I'm going to be definitely taking that into account. But thanks again for watching, guys. Definitely like, comment, leave me any messages there, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I appreciate it. Keep them coming, guys. And once again, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Y'all have a good day.